and the Cincinnati Bengals playing Thursday night, and it kind of sets that Thursday night trend of not the greatest games. I do think that there could be some intrigue from that if both teams are playing up to par. But as far as marquee games, that's not one that I'm super enthralled with. Also, the New England Patriots play against the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football, that Super Bowl rematch. That's going to be a good one too. Two strong organizations, but then you think about it, and it's like, okay, no Tom Brady. What are the Patriots looking like?
They got a ton of primetime games for some reason still.
They love.
I think
them.
it's just a fan base thing, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Thursday night game, it all depends on what happens. Like, if Joe Burrow comes out and beats his first game versus the Chargers, sorry, Jamar.
It's not happening.
But and then the more unrealistic one is somehow Baker Mayfield takes it to the Ravens. Like,
Right.
if those two teams both win week one and they're super exciting games week one, then week two, I'm all in on that game.
Well,
but other than that, if one team loses,
Well, I think that the more interesting thing is if they both lose, which is more reasonable, right? The Chargers probably should beat the Bengals. The Ravens should beat the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
They're both coming 0-1. How hard is this Baker Mayfield seat?
Should be higher
He's got to
than
win
this.
it, obviously. That's a big
Yeah.
game for him. If he can't beat Joe Burrow in week 2 of his career, they're in more trouble than anyone's going to.
Yeah, I think he has a little bit of a scapegoat with Stefanski being a first-year coach, but I completely agree. Like, he's definitely in a not comfy place.
So what I'll say is, I don't think the seat is hot in that game, but the next game is the Redskins. They can't go 0-3. They can't go 0-3. And with two winnable games, because the first one against the Ravens is pretty tough, but you can't lose to the Bengals and lose to the Redskins.
They actually probably should have to win both of them.
Yeah,
Because
they
then they're
should.
going to go Cowboys and then Colts.
And those
And
are
then
two
back
strong.
to the Bengals again.
Yeah, and those are two of the better looking teams, at least on paper.
The only other thing I got for week 2 is it'll be a media frenzy, is Rams-Eagles. Jared Goff versus Carson Wentz, number 1 QB versus number 2. The Eagles won a Super Bowl. Carson didn't play. The Rams, obviously, Jared Goff lost in the Super Bowl, but took them there. It'll be a press frenzy for sure.
Yeah.
Of those two teams, the Eagles have really helped out Wentz a lot more, at least in terms of building a team around him. The Rams got all those players, and now they've sold everyone off, cut everyone, and he's going to have to carry that team.
Well, I think the Rams tried. I think that they just did the I'm going to push all my chips into the table, and somebody called their bluff. And at that point, now you're trying to rebuild, and they're trying to rebuild in a way where they maintain the fan base and not like just completely, gut the rosters. Like we talked about the NFC draft review, and they took 4 or 5 quality players, but all at positions where they're not likely to start. And so, if they move all those starters this year and next year, they can kind of reset the deck. So, I think week 3, Jacksonville, Miami, another one of those Thursday night games where unless you're a fan of one of those teams, it's not really super intriguing. I think when you're looking at some of these games against not great teams, what you're crossing your fingers for is that the defenses are not good, so maybe they score a lot. Unfortunately, Jacksonville's defense is really strong, and their offense should probably be more of a ball control type. The Dolphins' defense should be a little bit improved, but it shouldn't, on paper at least, be super stout, and their offense would be average. So that's a game where Thursday night football, it's like, can they get some marquee games there? Because basically every single week it turns into like,
You make it
this is not
easy to
great.
just skip it.
Yeah.
And not every Thursday night's like that, but if you don't put anything out there, it's easy just to not turn the TV on.
Right.
Or turn on some college football or basketball still going to be going on.
or watch The Office reruns.
Yeah, there you go. Always good. Always time for that.
Tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
What else you got week 3?
Week 3 was, man, I think I already talked about that Chargers Panthers. Just for my own personal preference, so I can trash my cousin later on. I don't think we play very often, so that'll be good to see.
What
Cowboys,
about that Monday
Seahawks.
night game? Chiefs Ravens.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice to watch.
I think all those
That's a battle.
the end of that week is going to be really. They got 3 really good games: Cowboys at Seahawks, Packers at Saints, Chiefs at Ravens on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are 3 games you're going to have your eyes on.
Yeah.
And it could affect playoff picture.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Week 4, another Thursday night barn burner, Denver and New York Jets. I mean, you hope the Broncos are a stronger team. I mean, Bleacher Report thinks that they're 9-7. That's a possibility. Defense has always been average to above average. Offense looks like they have a lot of weapons, but they're all young, so we'll see. New York Jets, a middle of the road team that's had some bad luck with injuries and Adam Gase coaching them because he's not the greatest. Falcons get to play the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. I'm going to be excited about that because we're a underrated team, and while I don't think that we're pounding on the door of the playoffs, like when we play against marquee games on big stages, I think we tend to play well, except for in the Super Bowl when we lost 20 that 25-point lead. But any other week 4 games you guys looking at?
My gut for week 4 says that, like, this is, like, upset week. There's a lot of trash teams that are playing some pretty good teams. There's not too many, like, it all should be, pretty one-sided. There's a couple games that are close, but, if you walk into the Ravens-Redskins game and somehow the Redskins come out beating the Ravens, like there's just Seahawks, Dolphins, Giants, Rams, like there's just nothing that's like, ooh, that's a great game,
Right. During that
on
week,
paper.
nothing's going to go, I got to turn the TV on. Like, clearly going to be watching if you got fantasy implications, stuff like that. But nothing's like, I got to watch this specific game. That shouts out to me.
Got to see what it's like to see your boy Tom this early in the season. Not used to playing him this early. But that'll be interesting to see. I'm also curious to see how Zay's Boo Boo Raiders does against the Bills. Zay, come catch these hands when you're ready. I saw that comment. We good. But no, I think that'll be an interesting game to see. Those, I feel like they're pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, we have. I think the Bills were given a 10-6 record. Probably the front runner of the
7-9.
division. Should be. You said Raiders 7-9.
I thought I saw they were projected 7-9.
They could be that for the ESPN one.
Maybe.
I think.
What are they on that one?
For Bleacher Report, I'm pretty sure that they're 10-6.
For the Raiders?
No, for the Bills.
Oh, I was talking about the Raiders.
Oh,
What are the Raiders?
Oh, the Raiders. The Raiders are 6-10 on this one.
That's close.
So
Makes sense.
They could be better than that, though.
yeah, a couple good things go your way. You get a little bit of offensive explosion. You actually are moving the ball around on all 3 levels. You could get a couple additional wins. Week 5 didn't really have anything that was super poignant. I mean, Vikings Seahawks on Sunday Night Football should be solid, but then Chargers Saints on Monday night, that should be a good one.
It'll be interesting. It's the first year without Phillip. I feel like that would have been that Phillip Drew Brees game is always fun to watch for me.
Yeah.
Even if we are getting scraped by Drew Brees. So we're not going to get that this year. I'm hoping Herbert's in by this point. I don't think he will be, unless someone Tyrod gets hurt or unless they come out of the gate like during training camp and like this is the guy, we're going with him. I don't think he'll be in by then, but I think that'll be a good game to watch.
Any others?
I mean, for me in general, up through week 5, I'm really excited to watch Tua or, whatever's happening with Miami quarterback situation. Like there's an interesting Dolphins 49ers if Tua's on fire, if he's even in the game, if it's still Fitzmagic in, it's a sleeper, but I'm intrigued. I personally don't think he's the answer to any team's problems, but
He'll probably be hurt by then.
exactly. So I'm looking at it like if he's doing good and proves me wrong, I'm pretty excited to see him, face every team. I just want to see him play NFL football up to this point.
What about? I mean, we're gonna get there soon, but Chargers, Dolphins in Week 7.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Should be solid. So let's see.
Should be a blowout.
Any other marquee games from that week?
Week 5.
Nothing. All right. What about week 6? Week 6. I mean,
Browns at Steelers. Myles Garrett will be back.
Round 2.
I mean, I don't think Rudolph's going to be playing.
Nah, he's
But-
gonna.
nah,
he's
he's
going
being on the
to-
bench.
But that's
Cam
always a
Newton's
grudge
gonna be
match.
playing. Cam Newton's gonna get signed by the
Hey,
Steelers, bro.
he came out today and said that he'll take a backup job.
Bruh.
Wait, I thought he said he didn't.
He changed his mind
Oh.
because
Yeah.
he knew.
'Cause no
he
one
knew.
wants him.
He knew. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he's not signed yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came out today and said, I'm willing to take a backup job. And then the next article I read was Pittsburgh saying that they're very comfortable in their current Ben Roethlisberger
No, you're
backup
not.
situation.
Did you hear
Stop
his Did you see what he was doing for his workout regimen?
I don't need to.
Roethlisberger?
I don't need
He said
to.
he was like doing a yoga class, playing golf, and drinking beer.
That's my kind of guy right there.
That's
not
exactly the
surprised.
guy that he looks like, but
Sure.
like not an NFL quarterback.
Yep.
Here, how about this plan? Big Ben, he's gonna struggle this year. You get Cam Newton playing for 2 years, draft someone like Trey Lance or Jamie Newman, and you're on to the next one.
Which is how you should be looking at your roster. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers are gonna start looking like the New York Giants were at the end of Manning, and I think Ben has a little bit more left in the tank because he was just a more talented type of player. So he still has a little bit more talent in that bottle. But like when you looked at their roster and you're like, oh, like they're respectable. Just as long as Eli plays good, like they have a chance to win the division. And then you watch them play and you're like, oh no, Eli is awful. Like it's going to be the same thing with Big Ben. It's like, oh, everybody's healthy. Defense is playing good. They have the weapons. And like, oh, wait, Ben is throwing picks left and right. He's taking sacks. He's not escaping the rush. Oh, okay. Maybe he shouldn't have been, drinking beers all the time when you're rehabbing. Like, what are we talking about? Like, he should be in pristine shape right now for the fact that his elbow may or may not work when it comes time to actually play.
Maybe there's no need to be in shape if you know it's not working.
I know,
You
right?
just can't throw. Who cares?
I know. He's just gonna milk it.
He's
and
waiting
then,
until the bonus comes through. He's like,
yeah,
you can't throw.
he's
guys.
gonna pull that Andrew Luck like right before the season, halftime.
I'm
Like, hey
retired.
guys, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
But your guys' teams, you guys play each other that week.
Yep. That was my other week 6 is Vikings Falcons little rivalry that week.
We played last year, and you guys got us at the beginning of the season. That's why I knew it was about to be a rough season. Hey, we'll see. We'll see. We have, we have hopefully all of our guys a little bit more healthy than they were last time around. It is going to come on a short week, but it's going to come right after playing against the Packers. Or actually, no. The Packers are 2 weeks before.
You guys play the Panthers.
Panthers. Oh, we about to get in that ass. we about to beat the brakes off of the Panthers. We coming to you guys
Gotta
rested.
get your win somewhere.
The only other one, if our kind of playoff projections, Super Bowl projections are true, the Bills Chiefs Thursday night could be a Could be an interesting future playoff game.
Two completely opposite teams.
Yeah.
Like two completely opposite teams as far as like how they want to win. But the Bills will be interesting because like they have a little bit more firepower during that game. So do they do the Titans mold of like, let's run this ball and try to play ball control? Or do they say like, now we have a good enough defense, we're going to try to like play this shootout game with you? Because if they do that, they're going to get scraped.
Yeah,
Like-
I think they're about to get waxed.
Yeah.
It's going to be game over. Not even worried about it.
Week 7. Eagles, Giants, Thursday night football. Giants, who knows how they are, at that point in the season. But if everybody's, moderately healthy, it should be a good game to watch. They always have entertaining back and forth type matchups. The Chargers, Dolphins, we talked about it a little bit before. Herbert, Tua, that'll be a good one.
Nah.
If either of them.
If
are
he's-
playing.
Yeah. Both of them could not be playing.
Both of them could not be
Yeah.
playing. That's true. I don't know. I still don't know if I'm comfortable the whole season of Tyrod, but I guess if that's what we're willing to do.
The team should just call up, like, if they're both not playing, like, let's say Tyrod is, has a hold of the job and they're trying to, like, give Tua some time to learn. They should, like, call each other up and be like, hey, just for the money's sake, like, let's just both start the rookies this week and we'll go back to normal, tendencies next week.
Other than that, you got that Steelers-Ravens rivalry. That whole division, those rivalries are always classic and super entertaining, but could be really, really boring as well. As we just talked about, their quarterback, unless it's Cam Newton, their quarterback's just drinking beer, playing golf, and doing yoga right now. So it's a little bit different than the Ravens.
All right. Was it week 8? Week 8, Cowboys and Philly Sunday night football should be solid.
And Niners, Seahawks.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Niners,
a couple.
Seahawks.
They've done a good job. It looks, at least so far, as putting some of these really good games in the afternoon slate
Yep.
and working from there, kind of that Sunday night, and then late Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I think in that week we have Jags, Chargers, Saints, Bears, 49ers, Seahawks. Like, at least I'm watching an afternoon game. I can watch 49ers, Seahawks. If you're a Charger fan, you watch the Jags. Like, that's not going to be too bad. The Jags defense should be strong. Chargers defense should be strong. More defensive matchup. But like you said, they're at least putting a strong game in that afternoon slate. So you're not watching 3 boring games waiting for Sunday night football to come on.
The only thing I saw was Vikings-Packers, another, week
Division.
8, divisional
Well-
game that has playoff implications, and then we're done with the Packers.
I don't like that at all.
It's too early, right?
We're going to see in week 9, Saints are playing the Bucks again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't really make sense if these games are really going to affect your playoff chances. I don't mind if you play someone early, but you need to put some of that last round of games near the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, too. Something we haven't talked about, and it's not really, it's just speculation at this point, but even if games get delayed or the season gets cut by 4 games or, whatever number they end up being comfortable with, we might miss out on that very first divisional round or, and then we've finished this really important game before you've really hit your stride.
Right.
Because like so many teams at week 8 finally figure it out, and then they run the rest of the season, and then but you're done with the games that matter, and if you've
Right.
already lost against your entire division, then
You can't make it up.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Right. Also, flip side, if you have all your division games at the end, and let's say you catch your stride at the end, and you're the Eagles caught their stride, and they had trash teams down the stretch. They played all their teams early. You catch fire down the stretch, because you played all those teams early. Like the Falcons, we went 6-2 down the stretch and lost to the Saints once, and I forgot the other team that we lost to. But I mean, if you're gonna lose anyway, if you have some of those hard games early on, and you just have not as strong teams at the end or tanking teams, you might be able to win some of those games and get in the playoffs. So it's always just interesting how it goes. It's like you kind of can't really give a huge gauge on it until you look at the end of the season what the teams really were at that time they played.
Yeah, and the other thing that I'm not seeing that they did last year that pissed me off was there was a lot of divisional games at the end of the season, like you were saying, where it was like they played each other week 15 and week 17.
Oh yeah,
And
that
you're
was
like,
annoying.
What is
Yeah, I
this?
don't like that
Like,
at all. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah. Play 2 or 3 teams are completely different teams from week 3 to week 17. So
Right.
play your divisional games early before week 6, then go travel and do your interconference shit, and then come back and play your division
Well,
towards the end of the
There's no reason you can't play 3 of those games in the first 8, 3 of them in the second 8.
Yeah.
Mix them in there somehow, and be done with it instead of smashing them all together right next to each other.
That's how we do our fantasy football schedule. So they should be able to make it work.
It's automated too.
All right. So week 9. I think that there were a couple of stronger games. The Green Bay Packers and San Francisco 49ers play that playoff rematch on Thursday Night Football. That's one of the more marquee Thursday night games. I know that first one of the year we talked about. And then the Saints play against the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football. They get that marquee game as well. Those two dudes are going to be trying to pad the stats.
One of them is going to try and pad the stats.
Nah, Brady's a stat padder too. He's just low key. Like he's like you're trying to pad the stats, but I'm gonna just play as many years as possible to try to make sure that I'm at the top of all these lists.
Yeah, but like we talked, I don't like that this game is week 9.
Yeah. When you played each other week 2 or 1 or whatever it was.
After a Buccaneers Monday night, they've got to come back and play Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they didn't do the Bucs any favors.
Yeah, they
They're
have.
the most talked about team this offseason, and they kind of mashed them. They got some tough games here in this stretch. They go week 8 Monday night, week 9 Sunday night against the Saints, week 10 they have the Panthers, but then they go week 11 Monday night again. So you're gonna have some short weeks coming up for them.
Especially when you're traveling, you're playing late nights.
And then follow that up against the Chiefs, week
No,
12.
they
That's
got-
a tough stretch.
They got Tom Brady. They can do everything, right? They're going to win all the games.
But it's not like they gave them any favors in that kind of stretch right there.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I mean that's gonna be like that little like murderer's row is gonna be like, okay, what is your team really like? Are you guys contenders? Because like by no stretch do they have to win all of those games, but they have to be competitive in all of those games, and they probably need to win 2 of the 4. Like if you can come out and you win 2 of the 4 and the other 2 you lose by 3 or you lose by 6, like okay, you could see that they're actually the real deal. If they come out and they, get beat down a little bit, because at the end of the day in the playoffs, you play good teams every week. So if you are going to struggle with a tough 3 or 4 week stretch, like what makes me think that in the playoffs that you're going to be able to come out here and beat all the different teams. So
Well, the other thing about not doing them any favors, or maybe it's a favor to me, it's not a favor, but the Bucks bye week isn't until week 13.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like I was gonna save that for that, but we're on the topic, and it like that's a long time for Tom Brady, Gronkowski to like stay healthy before they have that opportunity to repair their
Recharge.
bodies and have a week off. Like they got to make it through 13 weeks. Gronk's coming off
If they,
retirement, and he's got to play 13 games before he gets a break.
so
It's
they
a long
got some
time.
backup tight ends.
yeah.
But I think you're right. If they can get there healthy enough, they're going to go by Minnesota, which should be a competitive game, possible playoff team. Then they have a couple games on the stretch. 2 against the Falcons. They have, like we talked about, that kind of 2 and 3 weeks, and then they play the Lions.
Yeah.
So if they can get to that bye week and be ready to go to win 3 of the final 4, they're probably going to find themselves in the playoffs.
Right.
You know, unless that stretch kills them and they lose 3 or 4 or something before the bye week.
Yeah. Week 10, I mean, nothing really stood out to me.
Not circling anything. Niners, Saints, maybe.
Niners, Saints.
Yeah, I mean that's a
was
good game last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit before. Like, you see these games like week 10, like, oh, okay, that's cool, but it's like
It's that middle of the season where it's just like,
you're gonna be
don't lose a
different
bad game.
Yeah,
Seahawks Rams. Imagine Seahawks losing to the Rams.
yeah.
Here.
They do almost every
This
year.
week.
One of the
Yeah, I
two,
know.
like
They lose to the
they,
Cardinals
always
for some
have their
reason.
numbers.
They
Yeah.
lose to the Rams for some reason.
dude. I remember in the Seahawks like dynasty playoff run. Like, they played a game where they lost to the Rams, who were bad at the time, by 30.
Yeah.
It was like, wait, what?
Dude, Jeff Fisher always beat the Seahawks. He couldn't beat anybody else, but he always beat the Seahawks.
It's like
The other
he knew he was going 2-14 at least.
exactly. The other one, I'm excited for the Vikings to play Nick Foles and whoever the new head coach is at that point. Week 10, I feel like that'll be in full
You're going to
stride.
be right about there.
Yeah.
Bye bye, Matt Nagy.
That'll be the new head coach and Nick Foles right there. First game Monday night, long week. Got a long week to adapt to the new coach, adapt to the new quarterback, and away you go.
We're off and running.
Yikes. Could be, though.
Oh,
Could be.
man.
It's very realistic.
All right. Week 11. Cardinals Seahawks should be a pretty solid Thursday night.
Yeah, the Cardinals end up winning in Seattle all the time for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 out of the last 4 or something like that, which doesn't make any sense. I think it's just more about the Seahawks. Sometimes they play
down to the competition.
just play down sometimes, and they're brought up more than they are a good team sometimes. And I think that could be it. But I'm not looking at this. It's kind of that middle of the season. It's like, who's playing on my fantasy team?
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
I'm trying to make this playoff push.
Yeah.
Who should I try to be trading for? And
Jamar's got an exciting one.
yeah,
Yeah, we can actually beat the Patriots.
For once.
No, Melvin. Wait, we're on week 11.
Wait, we're
right?
on week.
Oh, yeah. Chargers Broncos.
Oh,
Melvin.
I'm looking at. Was
Okay.
this week 13? Go Melvin Gordon. Come get that work. Actually, is this an away game? Oh no, it's at Denver. Ugh. We might get that.
Didn't we make
I don't
a
know,
Melvin
man.
Gordon bet, Jamar?
Did we?
Go
I
to
don't
the
think so. I
archives.
thought the only bet I had was this Tom Brady
No,
nonsense.
I think it was. I think it was
we got
off pod.
Bills.
I think it was
Bills.
off pod. I think it was like.
off pod.
I think it was like. I bet you that Melvin Gordon was going to, in the 2 games, average 100 total yards and a touchdown.
In the 2 games, he's going to average 100 yards and a touch. I feel like it was more than 100 yards.
No, it was 100 yard. It was 100 yards and a touchdown in both games.
this is later
Like,
in the
so-
season for the Chargers, though. They might all be hurt.
Wait, when did they play him the first time?
I don't think they have played him yet.
Do they get? Do
I
they
don't
have that?
see 'em
Do
on
they
the
have
back
that?
half.
Do they have that stupid? We're gonna play you again in 2 weeks kind
Oh,
of thing.
Chargers. Yeah,
Yeah,
week
we
16.
play week 16.
Yeah,
At Chargers.
gonna do
They'll
that.
all be hurt.
Yeah.
Um,
Who's your third string quarterback? No, I'm just kidding.
we can take that bet. I'll take it anyways. I can't stand punk ass Melvin Gordon. I'll take it.
All right,
wait, is it total yards or rushing yards?
total yards.
You didn't say that before.
That's what I did.
Rushing yards.
Not
purpose.
rushing yards. It's
Rushing
total yards.
Nah, I don't want it.
That's a total
I
yards.
don't want it. 100 yards, that's easy. I don't want it.
100 yards. That's easy. I thought he was bad.
That's light work.
I thought he was a bad player.
Yes.
That's 6.
100
That's,
rushing yards, I'll take that bet.
That's
100
that's
all-purpose
16 fantasy points. bro.
120 all-purpose yards.
You average 16 fantasy points in a season. You top
It's not a season.
100,
It's 2
120.
games.
120
yards.
120 total. That's fair. You want to go 120 total?
We could do 100. 125 total.
No,
And a
120.
touchdown.
122 and a half.
Brady over here.
125 total and a touchdown in both games.
No. Average.
What do you mean average?
So,
total-
if he gets 200 yards in the first game, right, and then he doesn't have 100 yards in the next game,
He only needs 50 yards the next game.
Sure.
He didn't get
average.
200.
Sure.
all right, 125
125
and a touchdown.
all-purpose
And a touchdown. All right. All right. Where are we at? 12.
12.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving games are always fun. Thanksgiving games.
But these
are always
games
fun.
are not that fun.
Yes, but why do they keep giving Detroit Thanksgiving games?
But
Like,
they always
tradition.
have. It's the tradition.
no, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Stop.
No,
We don't need this tradition anymore.
They started it. They
Who's
get
that
to
tradition
keep it.
for? Detroit.
For Detroit.
It's
That's
the whole
it.
city.
That's it. We don't.
But Detroit lives for this game.
You-
Like the entire city lives for this.
They started
Thursday.
it. It was theirs. The Cowboys tried to hop on, and then the NFL just gave a third game because
You know-
of the time slot.
You know what? You know what they need to do. I want to see this. If you're gonna put the Detroit Lions on here, I want to see them play the best team in the league, so they can get the bricks beat off of them.
they don't even. They barely ever even win on Thanksgiving.
But that's the thing. They lose against bad teams. Like I don't want to watch them play against the Texans. Like, I want to watch Lamar Jackson rush for 15 touchdowns on them.
Do you want to watch the Lions play against anyone ever?
No.
So it doesn't matter when they play.
Well, then give me the Chiefs.
That's why they play
Like,
the early
give me-
one.
give me
People are
the-
still waking up. Doesn't matter.
Make this game at 6 p.m. or 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Chiefs Bucks would have been nice to watch on that day.
Chiefs,
Ooh,
yeah, that would have been a good one. Like, I mean, the rest
They
of the
didn't
games,
even get that into a prime time, which is crazy. That's just a late afternoon game.
No, they can't flex it.
No,
No.
but no,
they
it's
can
alright.
flex, but not to Thanksgiving.
But
like-
I think it's a network thing too, where you have to.
They get certain games.
They get to
Yeah.
pick some certain games,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
CBS is like, we need some
Right.
Tom Brady.
Like they could flex it if, like, let's say Aaron Rodgers got hurt and the Bears are what we think the Bears are gonna be. Like they could flex it to
I don't think
Sunday
they can
night.
flex to like week 15.
Yeah,
or
you don't.
something,
You
no.
can't do it
Really?
till like
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
It's-
okay. It's like early in the season.
Yeah, and it's only like playoff contention, like
Gotcha.
or a game that is like if Monday night ends up being 2, 3, and 10 teams or whatever at that
Right,
point, like
right.
yeah, then they can flex it out because nobody wants to watch that game.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so we got any other marquee games week 12 that we're looking at?
I think at this point we'll have figured out which teams are making that rush. Teams that we didn't expect, or teams, kind of making their playoff push.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, it's not like we could say, I really got to watch that Titan Colts game
Right.
because one of these teams is going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
That could be like one of the cementing weeks is if Rivers really has a party this season and is destroying Tom Brady, then
He's not.
Adam's gonna come on the pod and he's flexing his muscles and have to do a. But the thing I told him though is that if he wins the bets, I'm not gonna feel bad about the fact that we lost because we have to talk about Phillip Rivers for a whole pod. If he wins the bets, and that means he had a good
What do
season.
you mean the entire podcast?
We have to,
hey,
the
it'll
entire-
be a
Oh.
3-minute
Yeah, no,
pod.
so it has to be long. They're our shortest ever.
Welcome to the Pay Dirt Profile podcast, and we're out.
No, you got to say Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers had a good season.
This is the Phillip Rivers show,
Yeah,
and we're out.
and we're out. This is Dante. Oh man. All right. Well, I think you mentioned it. Like right now, I'm looking at some of these other games outside of personally Week 14. Jamar and I are excited about the Falcons Chargers
Let's go. We
It's
going.
in LA, right?
in LA.
We're going.
We go into the game. That's gonna be
If
live.
you're allowed.
If they better, it's
By
December.
week yeah.
It's December. I'm punching somebody if we're not allowed to go to that game. But outside of that one, I mean, do you guys have any games that are standing out to you in the last couple of weeks. I mean, Christmas Day is Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints again.
How about another present here, Drew Brees? Take this L. Third straight season.
I mean, personally, week 14 for me, like playing Tom Brady is always fun, and if the Bucks are still hyped, I mean, at this point in the season, like Kyle said, it's really like if everyone performs as well as they're supposed to, I'm really excited about that game. But if the Patriots or the Buccaneers are horrible or the Vikings are horrible, like you can't really make any predictions at this point.
Yeah.
I think one game that it's not like I'm going to watch this game, but I think is going to be intriguing. Week 16, Bears at Jags. I think Jags are going to be toward the bottom end of the league.
Oh,
I think
Yeah.
the Bears could be near the bottom end of this league. They're getting rid of Trubisky. This could be a Trevor Lawrence game.
Mm.
You don't.
The Bears have their first round pick back next year, right? They do, right?
probably.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's intriguing because, the Jags could just seal up and get Lawrence. He's from Georgia, so he's from down there.
Mm.
So I'm sure they would be intrigued to get him, just like the Panthers would be, and a bunch of other teams. And then the other one, Week 16. Think about this: Eagles at Cowboys. It's the Sunday late afternoon by itself, essentially. Put this on the line. They're both probably going to be playoff push.
Mm-hmm.
If the Cowboys lose, let Dak walk. If they win, pay him.
I mean,
Just that game alone. Pay him. If he can win that game, pay him.
but that's only if they're in playoff contention, right? Like if the season's already over, then
Yeah,
you're
clearly,
already
but
letting
we're
them off.
assuming that these are the two best teams in the division.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be for the division title or division lead at this point. It always ends up kind of right there.
Mm-hmm.
Win the game, we'll pay you. Lose it, we're gonna play Dalton next year. We're going to draft someone and we'll let you walk.
See, so on its face, like you don't want to decide somebody's fate on one game, but you've had all these years.
But hasn't that been his Achilles heel every single year?
Exactly.
You can't beat Carson Wentz
Yep.
late in the season.
Yep.
Why are we going to pay you? Carson Wentz is going to be around.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere unless he
Beat
keeps
him?
getting injured.
Beat him late in the season and we'll pay you.
Yeah, and I think, like I was getting at, like it's not something that you want to do, but like it's gonna be a big time factor in that decision. It should be because
Yeah.
you hit the nail on the head. Carson Wentz is not going anywhere, and I think I said it before when they were talking about actually giving him money and giving him the highest paid deal. It was like, if you can't win your division and you can't beat the juggernauts in your division, how can I think that you're going to beat the other juggernauts in the conference and win a Super Bowl? Because that's the ultimate goal. So, hey, I guess we'll see. That's the Dak contract game.
Is
Yeah.
he even going to be in the game, Carson Wentz?
He might not be.
He
might
He
not.
might
not
not
even going to
be.
be playing in that game.
That's the Jalen Hurts game. Jalen Hurts coming
But
out.
really, if you can't beat Jalen Hurts, a rookie Jalen Hurts,
Yes.
cut.
Yes. Really, really let you walk in the offseason.
I really like the Week 15 Chargers Raiders Thursday night.
Oh, that'll be a
Under
good
the
one.
same implications. If the Chargers are
Number
showing
two spot.
are showing any signs of hope, I mean that could be a great kind of that last team into the extended playoffs fight
Yeah.
right there.
I still think our division is a battle. It's a bloodbath.
There's a couple
between
of those
between
divisions, right?
teams.
Yeah.
I think AFC West, NFC South, I think is going to be the Falcons are going to be improved. The Bucks are clearly improved. The Saints are the Saints. I mean, those are a couple of 3-team divisions I think we could see.
Yeah.
And then Week 17. I mean, Week 17 is always fun. Hopefully, Minnesota walks all over the Lions. We're just taking that as a bye week. Chargers, Chiefs.
I feel like that's
Could-
going to be like a must win. Like, you want to get into the playoffs, beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of those games.
So it could be
Yeah.
one of those things too. Remember the Ravens Chiefs play early in the season. If the Chiefs won, they could be sitting on a bye not having to win, or they could have lost need to win to
Lock up the number
lock
one.
it up, so they may be playing or not playing. That could be one of those games.
Well, and I was looking over the Chargers schedule again, and it hasn't quite been the same these past couple of years. But I remember growing up and being in high school and college, and it was like Chargers lose the first 4 games, and everybody leaves them for dead, and then they go on a run at the end of the year, and they make it to the playoffs. Like, they have the chance to do that again this year because every time they do it, they play against either winnable teams or against division or playoff opponents where they can shift through the standings. Like like if you look at the Charger schedule, like they said on here they're gonna be 5-11, or like the Bengals winnable, then Chiefs, Panthers winnable, then Buccaneers. They could be 2-2 at that point. Saints, then Jets, 3-3. Dolphins winnable, Jaguars winnable, Raiders winnable, Broncos winnable.
They could be sitting at
Bills
6-3,
winnable.
7-3.
Patriots
You
winnable.
know, you maybe lose some there. You're
You're not
8 and
beating
5.
the Bills.
I don't think you're beating the Bills.
It's winnable.
Bro,
game.
you guys overrate the Bills. I'm telling you, you're overrating the
you
Bills.
really
Overrating
do.
the Bills.
You really do.
They just won 10 games last
I
year.
gotta
What are we
stand up
talking
for my
about?
bet.
Yeah,
How are we
stand
over-
up for your
wait,
bet.
Wait. How are we
Not that.
overrating a team
You're just
that
saying
won 10
you're
games?
just saying the Bills are win Bills. We're
No.
talking about the Bills still.
We're talking about the Chargers.
No, but like we're just saying the Bills win.
No.
Versus
He
the
said
Chargers?
the Bills are winnable, and I said I think you're going to lose to the Bills.
It's winnable.
It's a winnable- how is that an
game's
argument? It's a
closer to-
winnable
that
game.
Every
game's
game is
closer.
winnable.
Not every team. Not every team's every game.
Not like when you said Chiefs, we clearly just grazed over that one.
Saints.
We clearly just grazed over that one. Saints, we grazed over that one. I said nothing. Bills is definitely a winnable game.
All right,
Easy.
Bills is winnable.
like the Bronco Raider games. You could split those maybe. The Bills, that's up for grabs. The Bills are not going to wash the Chargers out.
I completely agree. The only reason I brought it up is because I have a bet on it, and I think I have to stand up for my bet.
Patriots with no Tom, who knows? Winnable.
Winnable, for sure.
Exactly. Falcons.
they're trying to
If,
lose, then it
if
doesn't
Falcons winnable, I have to say that because we about to go to that. and
Definitely
that
winnable.
depends on how they're playing.
Definitely probably just
Because
going to run them out of the
Y'all about to
building.
get-
Nah, and that depends on how you guys are playing because you guys can play like trash
Wait,
too.
you're going to go to the Chargers game?
Yeah.
Didn't we go to a game last year?
Bruh, don't talk to me about that. Don't
Bring
talk to
that
me
bad
about-
luck.
Oh my god! Missed extra point, like to tie the game. And, like how do you have a walk off extra point and miss to lose? Like
That's why they moved it back, though.
oh my god!
But
No.
in looking at the Chargers schedule, there's 3 games that's like,
no way.
no way.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are against the same team.
Right.
So
and then I mean to be fair, like you look at the Bucks, the Falcons, the Bills would probably be your next toughest opponents. Even if you lost all 3 of those games, you're still at double-digit wins if you win the other
right,
ones.
which
So it's not likely, but it's also not likely you're going to lose to
So-
all of the teams.
right.
So
So,
take the over on
the
5.
5 and 11
Take
is
the
just like
over.
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
talking about?
If you have the chance to bet the over on the Chargers,
But
5 and 11.
What's Tyrod's career record?
I mean,
His career arc is he doesn't turn the ball over like Phillip Rivers.
he's usually
true.
like about 8-8. Like,
took the Bills to the playoffs the one year, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure that was he the quarterback the year that they played against the Jags, and then Nathan Peterman had to play because
No,
he got hurt or something.
So that was the season. Remember, they were playing well, but they had drafted Peterman, and they tried to put him in against the Chargers. He threw 5 picks in the first half,
oh,
and they're like,
Well,
oh yeah,
we screwed up."
He's not that dude.
And then they put him back in the rest of the season.
So if Nathan Peterman's on the Bills when you guys play him, you're for sure gonna win.
nah,
I know
I don't
he's
want
on the
that.
Raiders.
Even
No,
with Josh Allen.
he's gone now.
Really?
No, he's
No,
still
I
on
think he's
Raiders.
on
They
the
cut
third
they
string.
cut Kaiser. They cut
They cut-
Kaiser
And Glennon.
And Glenn?
and Glennon.
Oof.
So
They
it's
got-
I stick with what I'm saying about the Grudens.
Yeah, they got Derek, Mariota, and Peterman.
Can't keep them all.
Even
But
with Josh Allen, it's a winnable game.
It's a winnable game for sure, but you're gonna lose because the Bills are gonna win the division.
So overrated on these Bills. Oh my god.
But week 17 is really exciting. It's all divisional games, all games that matter. I feel like it's not. Is it always all divisional games?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
All
want
at
they
the same
want
time.
they
Yeah.
want them to matter. They want teams that they can't just fold the season. Like if you're gonna fold, like you better have the number one seed or you better have the number one pick. Like anything else, that game.
They
is
want
probably
every
gonna matter
game to
for
matter
you.
at least
Yeah.
a little. That's why they're all going to be at the same time, basically.
Yeah.
I think the one
Niners,
intriguing
Seahawks.
one is Niners Seahawks. We talked about, we had a good argument about who's going to win the division. Could be that game right there that decides it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just like last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what happened. They played each other. The Seahawks lost, and they lost the division and had to go, do the whole playoff route while 49ers got to sit at home.
And then in terms of playoff implications, I see one other game that may be about playoffs. Titans Texans could be.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even be convinced that that's going to be worth anything. And I couldn't tell you which team it would or wouldn't be worth something for.
I think this spreadsheet had the Texans at 7-9, and I think that's pretty accurate with,
Yeah, I could
with
see
where they're
that's
going to
fair.
be. Like, it's pretty close. So
Like if we had a conversation and it's week 17, Titans Texans both 7-8, would we be surprised?
No. But I also wouldn't be surprised if either one of those were 9-7.
Right.
It just takes a couple of wins to go your way. Derrick Henry going on a tear like he had at the end of last season. Deshaun Watson being an MVP type player to win you a couple additional games. So like I was talking to my coworker today, and it's fairly interesting because basically every season you take a look and you can say like these teams are going to be the top kind of teams. It's like the Saints, the Ravens, the Chiefs. Those teams are going to be the top teams. The 49ers, they should be up there. And then you have the teams that are probably going to be at the bottom. Like you're looking at like the Panthers. The Dolphins are going to be a little bit more improved, but they're
Jags.
probably not going to be as great. The Jags,
Bengals.
the Bengals, like those teams are going to be at the bottom. And then all the other teams, like you can pretend that they're going to be like you can tell me that the Chargers are 5-11, but would it shock you if they're 11-5? Like it wouldn't shock me if they're 11-5. Like the Falcons are 8-8. Could the Falcons be 6-10 or 10-6? They could be
Right,
either
yeah.
one of those. Like it's very interesting. This is the first time that I've looked at it in a couple of years. And maybe it's just because we're analyzing it. We got the pod. We're analyzing a little bit more. But the first time I've looked at it in a couple of years where it's like when you have those homer teams that think, I'm going to be a playoff team this year, you're not telling them, like, nah, you're stupid. You're like, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, maybe things could go your way.
I'm pretty honestly like I'm pretty scared for the Viking season. Just like wrapping up my personal team, like I could very easily see us ending up like 9-7. We play a lot of tough teams. We got a lot of tough games. That first game of the year against the Packers. Then we can never beat the Titans for some reason. Seahawks is always a great game. We got the Falcons. We got the Falcons. We got the Packers again. We'll beat the Cowboys. We'll beat the Panthers. We'll beat the Jags. We'll see what
Beat
the
Drew
Bucks.
Brees.
We'll beat Drew Brees. But if we beat kind of those teams and those bubble games, like maybe we're at 10 wins, 11 wins, but I mean realistically, I see us in that like 9-7 bubble range for sure.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be an interesting season. I think that we covered a lot of the different games that'll be interesting to watch. But at the end of the day, like depending on how teams perform, who gets injured, who steps up, what rookies play well, what teams gel, what new coaches implement good systems, like we could be looking at this in an entirely different light, come 5-10 weeks into the season. So anybody have any others to hit on? We're all good.
Let's wrap up where you think your team ends up.
I think the Falcons are a fair bet to be 9-7 or 8-8. I would love to say that we're going to be stronger, and I'm going to root hard, and it's definitely going to depend on how things kind of unfold. But 9-7 is fair for me. 8-8 that would be fair for me.
Jamar?
I gotta say, similar. Definitely looking at a wild card run. I think those last 4 games of the season are going to be so crucial. I mean, the Falcons, it's going to be a tough game, but then it's Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs. It's like that's your playoff run right there.
Yep.
Like you can win right there and get it in, or you can lose and it's over. Mm-hmm. So it's going to come down to that.
Yeah, be 6-6 by the time that game hits, and you control your destiny. Well, you probably want to be one more win than that. You want to be 7-5 because you got to play the Chiefs the last game. You give yourself a buffer just in case.
For the Cardinals, I mean, I think if they can be in the playoff picture, when they bring it up week 14 and they have like they're on Fox or whatever, division leaders, wild card in the hunt. If we're in the hunt, I think it's all right.
Yeah.
If they can take care of business early, they got to beat Washington week 2, got to beat the Lions week 3, got to beat the Panthers week 4.
Yeah.
Because that's when their rough kind of trip starts. They're going to stay out. I already watched the Cardinals YouTube. They're staying out east already for back-to-back East Coast games. Then they play Monday night. I can't see them beating the Seahawks and the Niners each once. Mm-hmm. Maybe get one out of there. Maybe split with the Rams. And then, down the stretch, hopefully they're in it.
Yeah.
8-8 I think would be a really good season. And something that you could be happy that you've been building on.
Yeah.
Something like 6-10, 7-9, you creep in there, but it's not going to be something that is going to be all too exciting.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I don't know, man. Just depends. Depends on the season, the end of the year, and what the heck happens between Tyrod and Herbert. I don't know. That's rough.
Well, the beauty is that it's slowly but surely looking like we're going to get football in the next coming weeks. I think May 15th, they're going to be trying to send some staff members, select staff back to the compounds, and then after that, they're going to be looking into what it looks like to bring players back. So by the time, the training camps and mini camps and all those things start in, June, July, we could have, players coming back in. And as long as they can get into camp by July, I think that we have a great shot. Even if it's with no fans to start the season, we have a great shot at starting the season on time. So, it's been great. Hopefully we continue to, have interest. It's been great doing this during the off season. One of the things that we want to do another listener questions / hot takes type of episode. We're going to put out some posts here on social media. You can catch us at all those at the Pay Dirt Profile, and also the Facebook group, the Pay Dirt Profile Podcast. We're taking all hot takes, food, movies, sports.
Put that Tyson question in that episode.
Which Tyson?
The Mike Tyson
That
question.
Mike Tyson question. How much is it going to cost to get in the ring with Tyson? Y'all all
$0,
saw that.
bro.
Y'all all saw that
Oh,
video.
for free? You're going to do it for free?
Y'all all saw that video.
We'll talk about it.
How much is it going to cost?
No, bro. Oh my God. Did you see that he is potentially gonna fight in like charity fights? And Holyfield said the same thing. They're gonna rematch, bro.
Oof.
Tyson versus Holyfield for charity.
It's going to be a lot of money.
Taking off the other ear. Oh man. So yeah, we'll do some hot takes. We'll talk about all the takes, and then in the next coming weeks or months, we'll go ahead and take a look at these teams. We're gonna do our own breakdown, wins, losses for all of them. We'll do that on the side. Come back, talk about what we came up with, what team that we think is gonna make the playoffs, or what team we think are gonna win the Super Bowl. See if it'll be our Seahawks pick again. But as we said before, if you guys have anything, always hit us up on social media or at the email, the Pay Dirt Profile. And until the next time, this is Dante.
Tony.
Jamar.
And Kyle.
And we're out.